Rachel Zegler just dropped a bombshell that changes everything. She got the longest standing ovation in Evita history, but instead of celebrating, she broke down crying on stage because Disney and Gal Gadot are about to make her pay for destroying Snow White. This could destroy her career overnight and has Hollywood shaking in their boots. Stick around, because what I reveal about her breakdown in Disney's revenge plan will blow your mind. So Rachel Zegler is facing consequences that nobody saw coming, and Disney's internal reports are revealing information that will change everything for her from now on. First, I'll tell you about Rachel's complete breakdown during her Evita performance and why she needed bodyguards on the street. Second, you'll see leaked footage of Gal Gadot calling Rachel a woke clown and blaming her for their $250 million disaster. Third, I'll explain how Disney is planning legal action that could send Rachel to prison or force her to pay millions in damages. Don't click away, because what I reveal in the last few minutes about Rachel's addiction to fighting and her rage-filled outbursts at crew members will completely change how you look at her forever. So before we dive into her complete downfall, you need to understand what led to this moment. So as we all know, Rachel Zegler starred in Disney's Snow White remake that cost $370 million to make and market, but it only earned $142.8 million worldwide, making it one of Disney's biggest bombs in recent history. She made controversial political statements during promotion, called the original Prince Charming a stalker, and created massive tension with co-star Gal Gadot over Israel-Palestine comments. The movie earned a devastating 1.6 out of 10 on IMDb and a 20% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Now the consequences are hitting hard, and 3 major players are ready to end her career forever. Here's where it gets really crazy, guys. Rachel just finished her theater run in Evita on London's West End, and according to multiple witnesses, she received the longest standing ovation Evita has ever seen. But instead of joy, she completely broke down crying on stage.
One of the longest standing ovations in theatre history. She couldn't help but break down in tears as her standing ovation broke the London Palladium record, and it marked the end of a very controversial up and down year or two for Rachel Zegler and ended her year on a very high note.
Honestly, this shocked me when I first heard it. According to leaked reports from theater staff, Rachel was constantly looking for her therapist during the entire run. She was so mentally unstable that she even collided with other actors on stage, and there were serious discussions about replacing her as the lead. But it gets even worse. After the Snow White flop, Rachel was constantly being bullied. Fans were throwing tomatoes and other objects at her theater performances. The situation got so bad that she had to hire bodyguards to protect her on the streets.
And he's just doing his job. He's just protecting me. No. He works here and he's helping me because crowds are very, very intimidating. I know, babe, and I love you so much, but please don't disrespect my Danny, okay?
Listen up, this isn't just about bad reviews. This is about a complete mental breakdown caught on camera. The woman who once proudly declared that people would wait in line to see her movies is now hiding behind security guards just to walk down the street. And here's what really gets me. She broke down on stage not because of happiness, but because the pressure from Snow White's failure had completely destroyed her mental health.
Icon and legend Rachel Zegler just finished her run in Evita on the West End in London, and seriously, she just had the longest standing ovation at her final performance that theater has ever seen. During her last Balcony Don't Cry For Me Argentina, she also broke character just for a second to thank everyone for coming out, and seriously, she is such a generational talent. I'm obsessed with her. She also, of course, greeted everyone at the stage door last night. She was just so happy to be there, and her fellow cast members also gave her a really, really nice send-off speech, saying how caring and kind and how amazing she was in this performance, and it was so great to see.
Kindness and generosity, and you really set the fucking...
Andrew Lloyd Webber also used this as his caption. That's where I found out that this was the longest standing ovation at that London theater, but props to Rachel because this was everything.
And if you think that's shocking, wait until you hear this. Gal Gadot, who played the evil queen alongside Rachel's Snow White, is the first key player ready to destroy Rachel's career. According to leaked interview footage, Gal is now publicly calling out Rachel for being a woke clown. Guys, when I first heard this leaked audio, I couldn't believe it. Gal directly blames Rachel's political stance on Israel-Palestine for the movie's failure. She said Rachel couldn't shut her mouth and single-handedly ruin their $250 million project. In a bombshell interview, Gal revealed, "First of all, I have to say that I really enjoyed filming this movie. I even enjoyed working with Rachel Zegler. We laughed, we talked, and it was fun. I was sure that this movie was going to be a huge success." But then she added the devastating blow. And then October 7th happened. And what's happening in all kinds of industries, and also in Hollywood, is that there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel.
She was asked about how the film performed poorly, right? And here's what she said. "First of all, I have to say that I really enjoyed filming this movie. I was sure that the movie was going to be a huge success. And then October 7th happened. And what's happening in all kinds of industries and also in Hollywood is that there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel."
This is where things get really interesting. Gal is essentially saying that Rachel's political activism destroyed their working relationship and tanked the movie. The tension between them was so bad that Disney had to hire personal security for Gal Gadot because of the threats she received after Rachel's political posts.
My name is Gal, and I'm Jewish. Isn't it crazy that just saying that, just expressing such a simple fact about who I am, feels like a controversial statement? But sadly, this is where we're at today.
I have to tell you, even news anchors covering this story were so confused, they said post office instead of box office when discussing the film's failure.
Why was the movie a flop? Well, apparently it only made about $206 million at the post office, which
not post office,
box office.
It would have been hilarious if it made it at the post office. Then it'd be stunningly successful.
I misspoke. I got the post office on my mind.
That's how chaotic this entire situation has become. But here's what shocked me the most from Gal's interview. She said, "The most important thing when you are working on a film is teamwork. And when you have characters like the Evil Queen and Snow White, you expect teamwork to play a role in the creative process. We didn't really have teamwork, and there were many setbacks that we had to deal with during this entire process. And I just found that to be very exhausting." This is where things get really crazy. And honestly, this gave me chills when I first read the internal documents. Disney is the second major player cutting ties with Rachel, and they're not holding back. That Mickey Mouse is ready to make Rachel pay for the massive brand damage she caused. According to insider information from Disney executives, they've taken massive actions against Rachel. Number one, they will never hire Rachel for any future Disney remakes. The kind of brand damage she's done makes this decision inevitable. But here's what shocked me the most. There were rumors that Rachel was suing Disney, but leaked sources show the opposite might be true.
Rumors of Rachel Zegler suing Disney for $200 million over brand damage. Now, so far these are rumors because there hasn't been any court documents, but the word is that lawyers from Disney had an emergency meeting. The posts are claiming that she's demanding this money because of the defamation of her character. If anybody should be suing, it should be Disney because they lost a ton of money. And anywhere that Disney tries to promote their movie, it gets minimal likes, comments, and views even though they're paying for these promotions. And as you guys already know, it has one of the worst ratings of any Disney movie of all time. It's actually lower than this.
Disney is reportedly preparing legal action against Rachel for breach of contract and promotional sabotage. Listen up, guys. This isn't just about hurt feelings. Disney had to hire social media managers specifically to control Rachel's posts during promotion. They essentially had someone monitoring her social media 24/7 so she couldn't sabotage the film any further. You know it's bad when Disney producer Mark Platt had to fly from Los Angeles to New York to have a personal crisis talk with Rachel. He had to remind her how much was at stake with the movie and her career before asking her to post carefully. The producer's son even defended his father's actions, saying, "Yeah, my dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract." And if you think the drama was bad, wait until you see these numbers because they are absolutely devastating. Snow White reportedly cost Disney $370 million to make and market. That's nearly $400 million spent trying to rebrand a beloved classic into a modern morality tale. And in return for that $370 million investment, what did they get? A $43 million opening weekend and audience walkouts. Even Dumbo outperformed this disaster, and that elephant literally flew away from theaters. Here's where it gets even more embarrassing. In its second weekend, Snow White experienced a steep 66% decline in ticket sales, bringing in only $14.2 million and falling to second place behind the action film A Hard-Working Man, which had 1,000 fewer theaters and no massive Disney marketing machine behind it. Just let that sink in. A simple action movie outperformed Disney's most iconic fairy tale remake. Even The Chosen Last Supper with half the amount of theaters almost surpassed Snow White's numbers. As of March 30th, 2025, the film's cumulative gross stood at approximately $66.9 million in the United States and Canada, with an additional $75.8 million from other territories, totaling around $142.8 million worldwide. Guys, when I first calculated these losses, I couldn't believe it. Analysts believe the movie will lose over $100 million. That's not just a flop, that's, should we delete this movie from history? Bad. And if you think that's the end of it, wait until you hear this bombshell. The third factor in Rachel's downfall is her own mental state and addiction to controversy. According to multiple reports from crew members and co-stars, Rachel is not okay. Guys, I have to tell you, what I'm about to reveal shows just how far she's fallen. Rachel is allegedly seeking constant therapy due to the Snow White backlash. She's constantly worried about her career. And while Evita might seem like a success, her crying and collapsing on stage doesn't make sense for someone who should be celebrating. Here's where it gets even more disturbing. There are videos and reports of Rachel breaking down and being rude to co-stars and crew members. She's constantly angry and raging at lighting technicians and other staff members who are just trying to do their jobs. Listen up, her obsession with political activism is even alienating her former allies. People who once supported her are now backing away because they can't handle her constant need for drama and confrontation. But it gets even worse. With her addiction to fighting and altercating with others, she's about to face serious consequences that could change her life forever. After Disney's potential lawsuit, she might end up in prison or be forced to pay massive amounts of money in damages. This is where the story gets absolutely insane, and what I'm about to tell you will show just how completely Rachel has destroyed her own career. You know the flop is real when the lead actress shows up to her own movie and the room is so quiet you can hear popcorn kernels crying. Rachel brought her friends, likely for moral support, to what looked more like a private screening than a major Disney release. She filmed herself buying tickets and posted it on Instagram, turning what should have been a celebration into meme material. These videos gave off serious, "Hey guys, come watch me tank my career in 4K" vibes. It was like watching someone try to embrace the controversy, acting like they're in on the joke to make it seem cool. But it just made the whole thing even more laughable. And here's the most embarrassing part. Before the premiere, Rachel proudly declared that people would wait in line to see her movies. Well, that aged brilliantly. People waited in line, all right, to buy tickets to anything but Snow White. And if you think Rachel learned her lesson from this disaster, you're completely wrong. Her response to the box office failure was nothing short of delusional, and it confirmed everyone's worst suspicions about her character. Listen to what she posted after the movie bombed.
Everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Guys, I have to tell you, this response made my jaw drop. She's essentially saying, my movies are so great you have to line up to watch them, while sitting in empty theaters. The delusion is so complete that she can't even acknowledge reality. People who already thought Rachel was a narcissist officially confirmed their feelings after seeing this statement. They suspected she was trying to make Snow White about herself, and this response proved those assumptions were justified. This is where the consequences become absolutely brutal, and honestly, this gave me chills when I first heard about it. Hollywood is officially done with Rachel, and the evidence is overwhelming. According to industry insiders, Rachel was set to voice a character in Toy Story 5. That role was cut. She was rumored to star in the next Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's gone too. A horror trilogy with Blumhouse Productions that could have saved her career completely canceled. Guys, when I first heard this, I couldn't believe it. But the evidence keeps mounting. Disney quietly canceled their live-action Tangled remake, and early reports claimed Rachel was the top choice to play Rapunzel. After Snow White's disaster, Disney clearly didn't want to take that risk again. Here's what really shocked me. Disney is quietly pulling Snow White from shelves and screens across the country, like it never even existed. Billions lost, theaters empty, and now Disney is reportedly scrapping future controversial reboots altogether. Even merchandise is flopping. Snow White dolls, t-shirts, mugs, all of it was shipped in limited batches to create demand. But months later, shelves are still full. Disney can't even give the stuff away. And then came the ultimate humiliation, Minecraft. The live-action Minecraft movie dropped weeks after Snow White and immediately crushed it at the box office. A movie about blocks and zombies with Jack Black yelling into a microphone completely destroyed Disney's most expensive princess reboot. So what do you think? Is this the end of Rachel Zegler's Hollywood career, or can she somehow recover from this royal disaster? And let me know if you want me to dig deeper into Disney's legal strategy against her.